Hello and welcome to another video for Auto Solutions Checkpoint, and today on the ramp we have a 64 plate Vauxhall Astra. It's a 1.6 16 valve engine petrol. Basically the brake pads are down to the metal and we've basically head into the disc, so we're just going to be doing discs and pads on it, and I'll give the rest of the vehicle just a little check over. The vehicle is usually well maintained, so I can't say anything drastic will jump out. Obviously the visual of the car, it does have quite a lot of dings, dents, scrapes, you name it, but mechanically you'll not find a better running engine. Anything it's ever needed, it's always been done. The customer has always made sure mechanically everything's done. On this occasion it was due in to get the brake pads done, but with the customer being back and forward to uni and that, they needed the vehicle and obviously overlooked the brake pads. So the brake pads have actually worn right down just for the driving which is done. So we're going to get that rectified and get the vehicle a wee check over on that and get it back to the customer in real time. Okay, so the caliper itself is a 10mm. Okay, so if you're lucky, you can get away with just using the 10mm on the outside without it spinning. If it does start to spin, you just put a pair of vice grips over the nut shape. Okay. So loosen them up first. Majority of the time you can just loosen them off with your hands, if you getting a ratchet out. Just a quicker job doing it this way. Right, so we're going to get the bottom one out first, keep the other one in just until you bring your caliper up. Okay, and the reason being is so that you can get your piston back, so that you can get your new pads in. But obviously we're going to be taking the discs off as well, so we're going to be doing it as kind of promptly as we can. It's looking like I'm not getting through to the part suppliers, so I'm going to need to clear up here. I've got a couple of cars getting dropped off, so once they're dropped off I'm going to go and collect the parts directly. I have a funny feeling the motor factors, the lines are down. Which isn't ideal, especially being on a Saturday. Got loads of jobs, plus I have to take my son for a haircut as well. So it's all go, but nothing I can handle, as you already know. You just got to get on with that. Okay, so you tilt your caliper towards you so that you can see in where the piston is. And wedge, just a wee wedge in where the piston is, and that gets the caliper going back. If you do it gently enough, you'll not get any fluid loss. If you do it too harshy-barshy, you'll get fluid coming out the top of your reservoir. You would need to top it up. But at least this here way, you're doing it nice and gently, and it will not cause that boost of pressure in the system. Okay, so nice and gently. Just take your time with it, don't be rushing it. It's back in as far as it can go, and that will compensate for its nice new disc and pads. So they're not so much down to the metal on this side, but they are very, very worn. Oh, the inner one is, look at that. So this here side's been the culprit. It's really done a number on the inside of the disc. well. So from what I can see, I think the caliper housing is a 19mm. I'll just confirm that. Okay, I stand corrected. The caliper housing is at 18mm. Okay, so once you zap off both of the bolts, I've just zapped them right out to the end and then do the rest by hand. It just saves the actual caliper dropping and whatever. You can sit it up there out of the way. Some people tie them up, but I'm confident enough that it'll sit where it should be sitting. It's one Torex holding it on. The Torex in question is a T30. Definitely the right time of year for discs and pads. Also springs as well. The party trick around this time of the year seems to be spring. Obviously road conditions get a bit worse for wear this time of year also, so obviously take that into consideration. Okay, so look, the back of the disc, it is as rough as sandpaper. Okay, it is, so it's really done a number on the disc. If the pads had been changed on time, you could have prevented it, because the disc doesn't seem in bad condition apart from that. So it's a shame really, but at the end of the day, safety first. So there's brand new discs and pads, they'll be coming for it. I think before I go and get the car parts, I'm going to check it over and see if it needs anything, just to save any crazy journeys and stuff unnecessary. Oh, the pads on this here side, they are running low, and this was the reason why it was going to be coming in for the repair. But obviously on the other side, I reckon just with heavier braking, it must have been braking heavier on that side to do that damage and wear that down quite fast. Or quite possibly, this is another theory, just say for instance you have to brake very very heavily, which I think that's what's happened. I would put money on that. She's had to brake very heavily and it's actually took the tread off the brake pad, causing that. And obviously this here side's been strong enough to hold. But obviously I'm looking at the pad as well, just it's an uneven wear, as if they were kind of sitting on an angle. Just ever so slightly. So just need to make sure there's nothing getting in the way when yeah, there was still meat left on the bone, but it's living life on the edge when it gets like that. You know, more so this side. This side's obviously your inner side. Your inner side's always the one that takes the most harshing and barshing. It's nice, it is really really nice, even if you get them going as easy as that, because sometimes they get over tightened, and good luck to you when you're taking them off. And what I tend to do when I come up with problems like that, technically the disc isn't going anywhere. Even if it's got its threads, the disc isn't going anywhere, so putting the wee screw on is overkill. So I would tend to just drill it out. Don't even need to drill into the threads. Just obviously drill the head off so that you're able to get the disc off. and then put it all back together again and you get a new disc. You know, at the end of the day, not complicated, and you don't want to be creating a lot of unnecessary work for yourself, because I know people would get their knickers in a twist over things like this, and you know, that simple thing would cause them to have a bad day. So you just don't let things get to you. This here one, it's got a lip, and generally what we can do with them is chop them around the edge and get all the roughness off them, and they would live to see another set of brake pads. But on this occasion, with the other side, they're just getting dusted bad. At the end of the day, the car's needing maintained, the customers get kids, and at the end of the day, safety first, guys. Okay, so we're about to look at it underneath and then go and get some car parts. The two customers' cars have been dropped off outside, and it'll be good to go after this. So we're just going to do a visual inspection around the front. A wee bit of seepage in the engine. Nice original cat. We love our cat. We've got seepage round the gearbox. I think these are revised F16 gearboxes, which are basically like newer versions of the ones that were in the Cavaliers and the Vectras and stuff. Basically, I know that, see the selectors, you used to be able to just change the selectors over. On the newer ones, there's something in the way. Notice on this flexi pipe it's missing the wee mesh that's usually on it, so I reckon down the line, so it's no blowing out now, I don't think, but I reckon down the line it will start blowing out. Something perfect on this side because it's covered in oil. Check round the back of the engine. Reckon that bush will be needing changed shortly. Looks a wee bit worn down. The pipe's a bit fluctuated, swoked here. Mental the amount of corrosion on these things, and see this, the filler neck for the fuel. It's the most stupidest idea. They should have this being plastic. Basically they've copied the way the Jap does it, and these rot, and when you're putting fuel in, and the fuel just comes out here before it gets a chance to get to the tank. Right. The coil spring should be perfect on it because I've replaced both sides on this here. Bushes, the axle. The pads look to be okay. I think they were changed last year. Back pads are alright. Dampers, no seepage. Very denty. It's a shame really because the car mechanically is perfect. like literally perfect. It's just in the wrong hands with somebody that can't drive. No offence if you're watching, but I call a spade a spade. And you don't get that many dings on your vehicle if you can drive, so there you go. Look at the back bumper and all. Scuffs, dings, just so lovely. Such a lovely condition car. One lady owner from new. Yeah. Right, so I'm gonna go and get some parts. Well, what a nightmare that was. I went along to my part suppliers, Dingbro, and they're all sitting twiddling their thumbs. Their phone lines are down, not only just in that branch, all over. Their whole network system is down. They can't access the computer to do orders or nothing. So basically, the game's a bogey today for that. I needed to go to another company called TMS. I don't usually use the place. I used to years ago, but obviously had disagreements over prices and that before, because they were a bit ridiculous. But I had to use them, so I've spent a good bit more than what I usually do at Dingbro. So I'm using a brand called Napa Performer. Never heard of it, so I'm hoping they're alright and they're not made of plasticine. But honestly, the things you do, obviously in this occasion, I'm gonna need the charge for what I've spent and my time, you know. So I'll try my best to keep the bill nice and neat for the customer. Oh, that's mad, honestly. I feel brutally violated, because obviously I use Dingbro quite a lot and I get a decent discount. Occasionally they do look after me, but honestly my pocket feels violated. So just absolutely squandered by that, eh? So time's wasting here. I said I would have it back to the customer for lunchtime. So my lunchtime's 1 o'clock. At the end of the day, they just need fired on, test driven and back to the customer. So we're ahead of schedule, even though we've had to do some traipsing about. So we've got these funny brand. But see, at the end of the day, if it does the job, it does the job. Obviously I'm not that used to using that company, like that I got the parts from, nor this brand. So just obviously I needed to keep the promise with the customer, so this is the measures I've needed to go to. So let's get these open and check. Okay, so far they look alright. Yeah, perfect. Obviously, see the brake discs I usually get, they're coated in like a painty rather than this grease, so we must clean these here down well with brake cleaner to get all the grease off. The grease is basically put on them just so that when they're made, if any damp gets into them, they don't rust. You know, there's nothing worse than opening a box with rusty parts in it, because you wouldn't want them. So the pads, let me see. Right, so it's the same size of pads. We're cooking. So we're going to get it cleaned up with the brake cleaner. Don't be shy with it. So yeah, just a wee bit of copper slip over the back and the tops as well. The set's not necessary because it's got the anti-slip pad on it, but you still get squeaking from the brakes, so it's better having double anti-slip than just chances of it slipping. Okay, whenever you're fitting them, they've got like a little marker here, right? That goes on your inside, so that would be like where your suspension and that is. It would go into that side, and it's so that you can see when you're having an inspection, you can actually see from underneath that your pad's been changed. Just a guide really, because always think the inside ones are most important because I believe they're the ones that wear down the fastest. Okay, so we're now round at the other side and we're going to get it built up too. Aye, we're only 15 minutes in, so it's not too bad. Customer's going to be pleased that it's back before I said it was. Vauxhalls are all generally easy enough to do, so if you're confident with the tool, just go for it. Okay, so I'm looking like I'm starting to run out of memory on my phone for recording, which is not ideal. The locker wheel nut is getting tightened up last, and I'm not using the buzz gun for it. Okay, so I'll get it down on the ground and I'll use the crack bar to tighten it up. So I'm going to try this non-acidic rear cleaner. I got it off eBay ages ago, a big 25 litre drum of it, and I've not really used it much, but I'm going to give it a wee try on this. I don't want anything to go on this table. I think the bigger challenge would be this here one. That's actually ground on. It is thick with brake dust, and I don't hold much hope with that. But I'll spray some stuff on it anyway and it might work. Okay, so I've hunted high and low. I've managed to find an alloy wheel cleaning device. You can see it's made progress, it's very slow progress. Looking at it from the angle of having a car wash, I think it would be too slow. You know, because car washes need to be fast with things, and this isn't fast. Obviously it's still mock it, but that was thick with wheel acid. But it takes too long. It takes far too long. You couldn't depend on that. I've been squirting the other side with some spray as well, and I've been scrubbing it down as well, so it's no looking too bad. The other side, it's no my problem, but I've got the most of the brake dust off. That stuff's very corrosive, so at least I've done a wee bit. So I've checked all the levels as well, checked the oil, brake fluid, coolant and washer jets, so everything's cool. I just needed to top up the washer jets. But yeah, that's it, ready to go on a test drive and test the brakes and then get it back to the customer. Okay, when you get into it, turn the key around and put the brake pedal to the floor, pump it up at least 5 times till it's nice and sturdy, and then start the engine up, repeat the process. Okay, taking a wee while up the road. So folks, we've drew to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. The car's now back at the customer and they're over the moon with the work I've done and the quick turnaround. So it's all positive, it's all good, and the customer's singing my praises. So 10-10 over and out.